We were in Blaine Lake, Saskatchewan at the Doukhobor Dugout House and National Historical Site of Canada, and today is our opening theme day for summer tourism. So today's theme is Rumours. We're going to start our tourism with 4 rumours, and there's many rumours, but we've chosen 4, and we decided to do one about the land claims and the Sons of Freedom, which is a sect off of the Doukhobors, because that's such a big thing that all people believe that all Doukhobors were part of that Sons of Freedom movement where they disrobed and they protested. We are also going to be bringing Peter Verrigan back to life, and then we're going to do a reenactment of a Doukhobor wedding. But today we're going to choose 2 people from the audience to renew their vows. We're interactive costume guides, so you're going to meet Tolstoy and Peter Verrigan and various characters within the Doukhobor community from the past. It's come back home to history. It's 1899, so we like to be more interactive than just you walking around and looking in buildings. We like to interact with the people. And elders tell us that the reason the Doukhobors came to this site is because this reminds them of home.
The Doukhobors have an interesting history. They were persecuted in Russia for burning their arms, so their lives were very difficult at that time.
The Doukhobors were pacifists that were actually kicked out of Russia for their religious belief in thou shalt not kill, and the welfare of the world is not worth the life of one child. So they immigrated to Canada in 1899.
One of the main events is seeing the dugout houses, how people came out here and survived. It wasn't just come in here and go into a warm building. You had to survive. Sometimes there were 15 people in one house.
Well, it is a provincial and a national historical site, and that's been researched. 300 people lived here in this yard, in the sides of the hills. When they immigrated to Canada, there were 7,000 Doukhobors, the largest immigration at that time. They settled in Saskatchewan as the government had given them a land to sow the crops and settle and live communal. And then once government changed hands, they took their land away and sold it. And so then the Doukhobors had to take allegiance to the flag and purchase their own land.
Doukhobor land for sale!
What do you mean, Doukhobor land? That is my land. That's land promised to Doukhobors.
Doukhobor land for sale!
We can't go back to Russia. This is our land.
And I think people can't believe, actually myself, I knew they lost their land, but when we did the reenactment about that they actually lost their land, it really touched my heart because they didn't sign, and then they didn't know what they were going to do because it was the biggest land grab in the history of Saskatchewan. Because this land was 7,000 acres was already broken. So when people were willing to line up and sign, they signed. And that's what happened, is we here in Saskatchewan, we stayed, we became the independent Doukhobors. The Doukhobors that went to British Columbia, they were split into 2 groups. They had a group that was called the Sons of Freedom, and they felt that we shouldn't own things, we shouldn't own anything. But here in Saskatchewan, we have always remained independent. We signed for our land and we farmed here where they did communally there.
There were rumors that all Doukhobors were Sons of Freedom, which they were not.
There is a rumor that all Doukhobors protested with bombings and nudity. I'm Misha, a Sons of Freedom Freedomite. I protested against the government. There was 179 Sons of Freedom out of 7,000 Doukhobors that believed in this protest.
It started in Saskatchewan. They went to the land office every day for 2 weeks and nobody would talk to them. So the women finally went, and by the end of the day they still had nobody to talk to, so they took their clothes off, and boy did they get talked to fast. So yeah, so that was an issue. And that everybody thinks that we all are Sons of Freedom when we all stripped, right? And we didn't. There was only a handful.
Today I'm playing Peter Verrigan. He was bombed, he was assassinated, and nobody knows who did it. So I'm going to try and play as why he was bombed. I boarded a train, October 29, 1924.
It exploded after midnight. Before his death, Peter felt his death was near, and he visited the villages in Saskatchewan, including this area.
He was taken out, and there was a lot of people killed and hurt in that, and those files are still sealed in the RCMP. It has never been resolved. So that's one thing that, you know, it's always, did he really get killed? Was it an accident? And we, as Doukhobors, don't believe it was an accident. We believe that he was killed.
I like to pick the actors to be descendants because the descendants bring it to life. And it's exciting to get together with them and you know, create their own ideas. So I kind of come up with the format, but then I get them to bring their own flavor to it, so their own words. So today you're going to actually see their own words. It wasn't actually a script that was written for them, so they're going to bring their own feelings into their acting.
I will be officiating a reenactment of a typical Doukhobor wedding in short form. So I will be including some participants. We'll be actually getting a couple from the audience who we will renew their vows, and what she really wants to show is that we take our blessings from the community, from our parents, and it's not just from one official.
So with that said, the Doukhobor weddings are an actual legal thing that we can do in the province of Saskatchewan.
Peter McCariff was a Doukhobor lawyer, and he investigated and found a way that we can now, as an elder, I can marry, as long as they have Doukhobor heritage, I can marry them. And the Doukhobor Act protects us.
We've done different shows, different topics here. We've also come here about 10, 12 years ago singing as a choir, the Doukhobor choir.
I've never come here and been disappointed. I've always had a beautiful, interesting day. One year it rained. I sang with my umbrella in the rain. So yeah, we've had a lot of really interesting things here on this grounds.
There's so many people that come from all over, not just Saskatchewan, but just all over in other provinces.
You know what? You come from a history that is a little spicy, not boring and dull. So there's a lot of history here, and it touches my heart. So when I come here, I just totally enjoy the day.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on Max TV Local On Demand, write us at max.local@sasktel.com.